Well, Michael, here it comes. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company officially suing Palworld developer over multiple patent infringements. Come on, man. Now you're doing it? Like now? What's going on? Alex Steven over at IGN. It's official. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are taking legal action against Palworld developer Pocketpair. The companies filed a lawsuit against the developer on September 18th, seeking injunction against infringement and compensation for damages on the grounds that Palworld, a game developed and released by the defendant, infringes multiple patent rights. And quote continues though. Nintendo will continue to take necessary action against any infringement and its intellectual property rights, including the Nintendo brand itself, to protect the intellectual properties it has worked hard to establish over the years. End quote. Nintendo's statement reads, the filing is absolutely massive news and follows months of speculation that Nintendo would take legal action over the indie survival game that's been referred to as a Pokemon with guns. Nintendo previously released a statement about Palworld in January, vowing that intended to investigate and take appropriate measures against any potential infringement content. The modder also claimed that Nintendo has come for me after posting a clip with Pokemon Ash in Palworld. But 6 months later, in June, Pokemon insisted that Nintendo had yet to make a complaint in response to the Pokemon ripoff claims. Nintendo and Pokemon Company didn't say anything to us. Pokemon boss Takuro Mizubi told GameFile at the time, quote, of course I love Pokemon and respect it. I grew up with it in my generation. End quote. Palworld launched in early access form in January of 2024 on PC via Steam and on Xbox as day one Game Pass title, and catapulted to tremendous overnight success, but also controversy. Pokemon fans were quick to call out the similarities in Palworld, although the indie developer insisted that Palworld is more akin to survival crafting games such as Ark Survival Evolved and Valheim than Pokemon. Pocketpair's community manager even said that the team has received death threats over the backlash. First of all, you can stick your death threats. That's ridiculous. These are people.
Yeah.
And you're playing a game. So how about you get over yourself? And then second of all, dude, Nintendo finally coming around after Pocketpair has made their millions of dollars. Like, hey, we just lost millions of dollars. Now you're a little late. They waited for them to then get the influx of players, 25 million players in a matter of like a month. And now you're coming after them after all this time. Dude, it seems a little long to be waiting to do this, doesn't it?
Yeah, the timing definitely seems off to me. I know from I've been basically looking at a lot of things, trying to figure out exactly what's going on here. And I know see a lot of people say, look, it takes time to form legal action. I don't know if it takes 8 months, because right, this is a patent lawsuit. This isn't like, oh, it looks like Pokemon. This is literally Nintendo saying there is a game mechanic or mechanics in Palworld that they say they have ripped straight from Pokemon, like 1-to-1. So very curious to see exactly what this claim is. And this is, as soon as this came out, my first thought was, okay, we have to have something big coming from Palworld soon, right? We know they're going to be at Tokyo Game Show, maybe allegedly with the PS5 release. They partnered with companies, I believe, in Japan to expand this universe outside of games. Maybe that's what it is, but something's coming that's scaring Nintendo, right, Drew? Because this isn't one of those, like, they made their millions. Why did you hit him in the first one? Why did you hit him in the second one? Palworld's kind of honestly died down a little bit. The hype's kind of, it was up there. It's kind of fallen off. So very curious about the timing with Nintendo. But we all saw this coming, right? I remember when I first heard this game teased, I'm like, yeah, this game's never going to see the light of day. Nintendo's assume. All right, the game comes out. All right, Nintendo's going to do something. Nope. Nintendo's got to do something, right? Obviously, the modder who turned it into Pokemon, yeah, you were going to get come after at the drop of a hat. So, I mean, I'm not talking about that one. But yeah, this was weird. I'm curious what Nintendo's going to say is stolen from, because one of the things I've seen thrown around a lot, Drew, the video game industry is built on companies borrowing and improving mechanics, right? So, this is a very slippery slope. All of a sudden, it's like, well, what if a game says, well, you can't have a health bar because we actually patented having a health bar. You can't have double jump because we patented having double jump in our games. Like, this is a very slippery slope for the gaming industry, especially for indie games, because they're going to have to make sure that every I and T is crossed and dotted if this goes through. So I'll be honest, I love Pokemon. We talked about it on the podcast. It's one of my favorite franchises. I hope this lawsuit doesn't work, because I think it just puts a very, very slippery slope for the rest of the game industry that is built on borrowing and improving mechanics from game to game, from franchise to franchise.
I don't think they have a leg to stand on, Michael. we've seen this happen before.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little game called PUBG, and then Epic Games decided to turn Fortnite into a battle royale, and then Krafton tried to sue Epic Games. Dude, that fell apart. And I think this is how this is going to go down, because just like you say, dude, it's all about borrowing mechanics and building and iterating on it. Unless there's an actual Pokemon character from that universe put into Palworld, dude, there's nothing they can do, right? I can make a drawing tomorrow, but if I put one hair in a different direction, it's no longer the same thing. Like, it's just, there's nothing there they can do. I think Nintendo's just a little butthurt right now that they didn't think of this themselves. I think that's what's going down, right? They've been more offended than anything else. And you know what? The game is, dude, if that was the case, then they might as well sue every platformer in the universe, because Super Mario Brothers was one of the first. So now you're gonna, like, what else are you gonna do, right? Like, Nintendo's so sticky with their stuff, and I understand that, because you gotta make sure you take care of your IPs. But it's not like they just took a Pokemon character and tossed it in Palworld. If they did that, dude, that makes total sense. Yeah, that's a lawsuit, right? But they're very similar characters. I get that part, right? But everybody's claimed it, Pokemon with guns. But it's enough of a variation that I think Pocketpair is just fine to get away with it. We've seen these lawsuits come up before, and then they get shut down. And I don't think there's anything Nintendo or the Pokemon Company can do about it. They just gotta live with it and figure out, maybe, hey, can we iterate on Palworld? Maybe that's what they should be doing instead of working on suing the company.